that actually makes a nice link to the next speaker, that is Rodrigo Carvalho. And Rodrigo is the Brazilian Navy officer, as we can also see from the proper dress, I would say. And as a bachelor in electronics, and graduated in hydrography and master in geodetic and geomatics engineering. Since 2018, Rodrigo is in charge of the marine spatial planning at the Secretariat of the Interministerial Commission for Sea Resources, SECIRM, the acronym. And I was thinking that, I mean, there is a nice link here because spatial planning is indeed a question of discussions across multiple sectors and across multiple actors. So we are very curious to hear what are the developments in Brazil about spatial planning. Thanks, Rodrigo.
Thank you so much, Patricio. Hello, everybody. It's my pleasure to take part of this event presenting the marine spatial planning in Brazil. And the first question of this presentation should be, what is marine spatial planning? And well, UNESCO defines the marine spatial planning, or MSP, as a public process of analyzing and allocating the spatial and temporal distribution of human activities in marine areas to achieve ecological, economic, and social objectives that have been specified through a political process. Well, and why is the marine spatial planning so important? Because the move is offshore nowadays. Actually, for decades, many land activities have moved to the sea as power generation, fish farming, agriculture, and this movement has intensified with population growth and the scarcity of land resources, as you can see in the image. But this movement has increased the conflict at sea, as you can see in this picture below. And based on this, in 2017, during the Ocean Conference, the Brazilian government decided to implement the marine spatial planning in Brazil in its marine area. And actually, our biggest challenge that we have to implement MSP in Brazil is the huge size of the Brazilian marine area, also called Blue Amazon. The Blue Amazon is about 5.7 million square kilometers, which represents about 70% of the land territory of Brazil. Just to have an idea, if we designate a hydrographic ship fully dedicated to collect data to the marine spatial planning, it's going to take more than 100 years just to collect the data. If you talk about process the data, it may take 300 years, and it costs about $2 billion US. So we are not going to use primary data. We're just going to use secondary data in the MSP process in Brazil. And based on this, we decided to split the Blue Amazon in 4 marine areas, 4 big marine areas. We have the south, southeast, the northeast, and the north area. And we are going to start with a pilot project in the south, as you can see in the right side image. And after that, we are going to advance to the southeast, later to the northeast, and finally to the north area of Brazil, where we have the Green Amazon. And another MSP challenge that we have nowadays is to convince our institutions that have marine data to share this data in our national spatial data infrastructure, also called the INDI. And some institutions have already shared their data. As you can see in this image here, that's the oil and gas potential of the Blue Amazon. Here we have the seabed topography of the Blue Amazon, and also the main shipping lines already shared in this database. And which institution is in charge, is leading the MSP process in Brazil? That's the Interministerial Commission for Sea Resources, also called SECIRM. It's a collegiate created in 1974, so it's almost 50 years. It's in charge of the national policy for sea resources. It's also in charge of the Brazilian Antarctic Program, and is in charge of establishing the limits of the Brazilian continental shelf. Nowadays, the SECIRM has 16 governmental members, which are the Civil House and the Ministries of Justice, Defense, Foreign Affairs, Economy, Infrastructure, Agriculture, Education, Citizenship, Health, Mines and Energy, the Scientific Technology Innovation, the Environment, Tourism, the Regional Development, and the Brazilian Navy. That's an image of our last SECIRM meeting 3 weeks ago. Around this table, we have all the 16 representatives of the ministries discussing important marine themes here in Brazil. And well, based on our discussion by now, SECIRM believes that the marine spatial planning can be the blue economy engine and also can contribute to the ocean risk management. So that's the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you a lot, Rodrigo. Thanks. I can see that is a huge effort. If I understand it correctly, that meeting was the number 208.
Yes, perfect. Yes, that's almost 50 years. Just have an idea. Some countries that didn't have a collegiate like SECIRM, they contacted us to know how to establish a collegiate like this for for such a long time. And that was the meeting number 208. So it's a very active collegiate.
Yeah. And so based on, your massive experience on this and this very interesting process, taking decision under deep uncertainty is really also about considering uncertainty in the process of decision making, where you have multiple objectives to take into account, as you showed. You have many sectors interacting there. And I can see that, this engaging in discussions, of course, is the only way to resolve some of these conflicts around the table. What about the data quality? How much is this process data-driven? And how much is based on the kind of discussion and personal positions of the different sectors?
Well, the data is something very important for us. That's we are trying to use this database. Some institutions are sharing this data and others are not sharing yet. Some of them are very afraid of this, some data that is more restricted. Some areas, as we have in defense, and we have in other areas there, mines and energy. So not all institutions are sharing this ostensive data, but we are going to have access to the data when we start the MSP itself. We are going to have a contract by November to have a winner that's going to start this MSP implementation in the pilot project in the south. So the winner is going to access all these ministries, the 16 ministries, and all this data, the ostensive data and also the restricted data. But that's something that's very important for us to access the risk. And that's going to be the first time we're going to implement MSP in Brazil. There are some countries that are more advanced, and we are using this experience in trying to talk to these countries that are more advanced in this theme, like Portugal, Sweden. They're helping us a lot in this theme, and we're going to advance. And as you see in this meeting, there is a whole bunch of people with different interests. It's not easy meeting. So we have to balance all the interests around this table, and we need to have a 100% agreement. Otherwise, the decisions are not going to advance. So it's a very good exercise, very tough exercise. But unfortunately, during this almost 15 years, we could conduct very well this multi-sectorial team, and that's something that gives us a very good security in terms of decisions, because as we have to have 100% agreement, so all decisions that we have already done, they have the strength in terms of the government, and it's very good in terms of SECIRM to have good governance in terms of sea.
I can say, it's a massive effort, and I was also not very familiar with the concept of the Blue Amazon, which I found it very fascinating. So thanks for introducing that to me, at least. Maybe the others, they were aware of that.
Thank you so much, Patrice.
Definitely expand that during the roundtable discussion.